Welcome to the Naarishakti show. I'm your host Aparna. Today we are joined by a visionary who's redefining what it means to live and do business on this finite planet. She's the founder and CEO of a Bangalore based social enterprise that focuses on zero waste personal care, home, and lifestyle products, bare necessities. She advocates for a cradle to cradle circular economy that empowers women from underserved communities. From her famous 500-gram jar of trash to the global stage as a Cartier young leader, she's proving that sustainability isn't about perfection, it's about reclaiming our roots and redesigning a future that honors both people and planet. Please join me in welcoming the incredible Sahar Mansoor. It's such a privilege to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited for this conversation.
I'm super excited too. All right. So, you often mention that your zero waste journey started off and was inspired by your grandma's traditional Indian practices. So, in a world that's actually obsessed with new tech solutions for climate change, how much of our sustainable future is actually reclaiming our traditional roots?
Honestly, I think it's all about reclaiming where we came from and our roots. I think if we just look back and reflect around the world, the most sustainable people we probably know in our in our kind of family trees are probably our great grandparents or our grandparents, right? And I think it's really important. When I was attempting to live a more low waste lifestyle, I was just having conversations with my nanny, and I was asking how, what did you do before shampoo came in this plastic bottle, and how did you make this, or what did you do before this, certain sauce came in this packet. And it was just all about kind of uncovering those roots, documenting those recipes, and trying to do it and embrace it in our own lifestyle. And I think, as urbanization, as globalization, all of these things have happened. Of course, I'm sure they've had great financial, economic outcomes, but I think maybe in the process, we lost a little bit of soul. And I think we, in the process, actually didn't know what we were actually giving up on, right?
True.
And the groceries of convenience stores, etc., are really great in terms of maybe they also made women more accessible to go out to work, and kind of giving them a few things that were making it easy and accessible for them to kind of live this, professional and personal life. But unfortunately, I think the distance just increased further from where we're sourcing things and consuming things. And that distance kind of just increased the global food miles of our products and just made it more and more unsustainable, unfortunately. So it's, I think it's all about kind of seeing what way we can embrace, that we can kind of do maybe what our grandparents used to do to live a little bit more sustainable life.
Yeah, I agree. When modernization hit, we thought it was very cool, but we didn't really realize, at what cost that was happening. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So even in the handloom arts and craft space, plastics coming in, synthetic fabrics coming in, they were lower cost, easier to manufacture. But our traditional weaves, our traditional art forms, there was so much sustainability. They were so much eco-conscious,
Yeah.
and we didn't realize what we were doing. So very relatable. All right. So I found this really interesting. You famously kept your jar of trash for years, right? For most people, that feels like impossible or even performative. So, what is the reasoning behind that, and what do you want to tell everyone?
Yeah, for sure. So honestly, I was in my 20s. I think I was 23 at the time. I just moved back home. I had, I've studied sustainability. I wanted to be an environmental professor. I've, protest around sustainability. I've done kind of occupied Wall Street. I've occupied LA. I've done all of that while I was living there.
Wow.
I've been at Mahatma Gandhi's statue for all sorts of things, with Fridays for Future, etc. So I said, I really need to just live my values more. And it's not just enough to do one small thing, but what does it really mean to be sustainable? And I wanted to just be in alignment with my values. I think that was it was feeling like there was dissonance between who I want to be and who I am. And I wanted to maybe I love challenges. So maybe I was, wanted to challenge myself to see if I can actually walk the talk. And that's why I started. But honestly, I started doing it largely because I started working with waste pickers and or waste warriors. And I was honestly really overwhelmed by the amount of waste that we were generating. It was just crazy that someone's mom and dad had to actually sift through all of these waste, maybe sanitary napkins, maybe diapers, maybe all of that to get one high value plastic bottle that they might recycle or upcycle or whatever. And it just seemed crazy that us being clean, us showering, is trashing the planet at this unprecedented rate. So it was just the dichotomy of all of that made no sense to me. And it was maybe my own little solution of experimenting and seeing, what does it really mean to live a more sustainable life? So I was doing it on a very personal level for myself. I never thought I would be a founder, start my own company with these values or any of that sort. It was just honestly for me as an experiment to see what that means. And then one thing led to another, and that's kind of how it all began.
Okay.
And for me, I also thought it was a bit of I wanted to do in a glass jar because I wanted some transparency and intimacy with my waste. I wanted to see exactly what I'm generating, how much of it. And it was basically a way for me to judge what I should cut down on, right? For example, a simple thing, I used to wear contact lenses, and because of the dust and everything, first I would have one that I would wear for maybe 3 months or something, and then slowly became 1 month, and then became every 2 weeks with the dust because I was very prone to eye allergies after that. And then I realized that this is something I can actually get rid of. So I invested in getting my LASIK done, right, and got that corrected, or realizing that a lot of my had a lot of food waste that came in packaging. And then I literally, very close to here, Buffalo Back Collective, I would start going there, and I was getting a lot of my groceries just in bags and in my own bottles and jars and things like that. So it was like a corrective tool for me to help make changes and alterations in my own lifestyle.
So, what led you to actually take that big plunge
Yeah.
of starting your own social enterprise?
Honestly, I think I've always cared about building something that had some sort of soul, some sort of environmental and social impact. And I was very happy because I was working in the solar energy space. So I think all of those things were being met. But when I started to work with the waste warrior community, I really found a gap in our daily consumption. And it was just so engineered. It was to be one that was kind of polluting. And I just wanted to create another alternative where products are not destined to just land up as trash or land up in the landfills. And that proposition got me really excited to see if we can really, reimagine the system to be more circular, more just, more equitable, and without all of this plastic footprint. So yeah, I think it was very slow and steady. It wasn't that I just did it overnight. I was doing like weekly pop-ups, monthly pop-ups, launching one new product every pop-up, things like that. And then slowly I had bulk stores that I was sourcing to, and then at some point I had enough capital that all my kind of hypotheses were tested around starting this business, and that's when I felt confident enough to go and get started.
Lovely, lovely. So, Bare Necessities actually prioritizes ethical sourcing, right? And female empowerment over rapid, move fast, and break things growth.
Yeah.
So, how do you navigate between, the slow, deliberate pace of sustainability and the high speed demands of today's modern world?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a great question. And I think as a founder, I do really struggle with that actually, because you obviously want to grow as a business,
Yes.
but you also want to keep in mind your values around environmental sustainability. So honestly, it's about being very real and honest about that. Like for example, now our products, some of them are available on quick commerce as well, right? And so when we debated whether we should be on quick commerce or not. But then we realized that it would mean more in terms of us having a sustainable option within an already existing solution, right? To help make sustainability more mainstream, you sometimes have to use existing systems, right? And work within the systems to try and create impact and change.
Change
So
has to be faced as well,
it's
right?
incremental. It's not going to happen overnight. And our communication around that was actually very honest to our consumers. We said, be mindful when you shop on QuickCom. Shop only when you need to. Maybe plan it out, so you're not just doing it for every small thing that you forget, but maybe craft your cart before you purchase. Deliberate on it before you do. Do you really need it? We were very clear with our communication on it, and we were honest. We said we're a growing business. We have bills to pay. We have livelihoods to support. We have 100 plus suppliers that we source our raw materials from all over India, and that's why we're picking this. And choosing this platform, because I think it would be right to our team and our stakeholders and our shareholders and our vendors to all grow ultimately as a sustainable business and make an example of a sustainable business that is scaling and growing. So I think I've just said that you deliberate on it, reflect on it, and then ultimately take a call, but be very honest in your communication about it.
Okay. Yeah. Because we live in this world where everything is like instant, quick commerce. You're so right. Sometimes, we just quickly order something, then we feel, oh, I wish I had ordered that. We make another purchase. But you're very right about being more deliberate, thoughtful, crafted before you buy. Interesting. So tell me a little bit about the kind of products that you carry, where you source them, and how do they actually differentiate? How are they different from other products?
Yeah, definitely. So we create everyday necessities.
Okay.
Right? So everything from a compostable bamboo toothbrush to a shampoo bar, conditioner bar, natural deodorants. So we're not trying to do cosmetics or makeup. We're just trying to do necessities that you and I need on a daily basis. And the formulations are clean. So we really try and celebrate a lot of, cacao butters from Oroville, coconut oil from Kerala, lavender and saffron from Kashmir. We try and source from all over India, wherever the best ingredients is, that's where we go. And we actually have the entire supply chain vetted by B Corp, because we're India's first FMCG brand to be B Corp certified, which is really hard to get. They take a year to do a detailed due diligence on the brand, your supply chain, your workers, your relationship, every pay slip you've ever had, all of that, in order for you to actually get this certification. So we are very, very deliberate with our, sourcing. And the idea is to just give you a clean, sustainable option without any plastic footprint. So all of our packaging is either recyclable, reusable, or fully compostable and refillable. So we actually have products that are refillable. You just need to buy the dispenser once, and then thereafter you can just buy the sachet
and refill it.
And hope. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. So there's also a lot of eco guilt in the sustainability space, right? So what is that one thing that you could never get over? Like you couldn't solve for it?
Oh gosh.
I'm sure there are many.
Yeah, what is the product that
product or any particular a focus area where you think, this is so much needed, you wish there were a sustainable alternative to it, but it was so hard getting around it?
Yeah. So I first used to miss Maggie, to be honest.
Okay.
But Adarsh Zero Waste grocery store
Uh-huh.
actually gives you a version of noodles with the masala in a zero waste way.
Okay.
And I was like, this is amazing.
Okay. So how is that packaged?
You can just bring your dabba,
Acha.
and they put it in that, and they give you the masalas also in the dabba. So when you go to Adarsh, I just take all my bags and dabbas, and you can refill everything as you want, as much as you want. It's a very democratic model. And then I used to ride my cycle a lot.
Okay.
And so it would be really convenient to put a granola bar or a protein bar in your back of your pocket, right? When you're on this long journey. And then I started to make my own little energy balls. So basically dates, almonds, nuts, rolling them all up, and things like that. And then now I just carry them in a thin reusable dabba, just behind in my back pocket. But it just means I need to plan a little bit more. And if it's not just, I forgot, I'm just going to order it right now quickly and then go for it. It was more about being quite mindful about how do I re-engineer a few things. I think gifting is something I really struggle with, because I personally don't like to consume a lot. I don't know how to be kind, but also share to people that I don't really want this right now. So how do I communicate around kind of saying no, or I don't want to hurt people, but how do I be a little bit more crisp and clear about my values around
It
the
is true.
gifts I want to accept and not accept is
Mm.
something I'm really struggling with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, on that note, I think a lot of people also think the whole concept of zero waste is like for the privileged only
Yeah.
because it involves a lot more time, effort. Most people do not have it. What is your take on that?
Yeah. I think it is about the messaging and also about showing that it's not really like that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe in some ways, definitely, but in some ways it's not. And I'll give you examples. For example, Nariyal Pani, right? It's like what, 30 rupees? It's accessible to all of us, right? Just probably step outside this lovely building and there's someone selling fresh coconut water. I think that's a luxury of life, to be honest, to have fresh coconut water, natural electrolytes, right? And it's very accessibly priced, right? Another thing is a miswak stick or a neem stick, right? The original toothbrush of the civilization, right? I think, in fact, it dates back to our Indus Valley civilization and Mesopotamian civilization, etc. And it's what, like, again, 20, 30 rupees as a starting price, right? So, sure, you could use that, or you could use a bamboo toothbrush that's 100 rupees. But there are different options, right? So, I feel like sustainability meets you where you're at as well. And that's what I think I'm really passionate about, which is saying that you don't have to do all at once, but just keep your eyes and ears open to that other option, right? And I think our default now is just to make excuse and say, oh, that's inconvenient, that's boring, that's hard, that's difficult, that's we like to put labels on it, but actually I want to challenge everyone to just keep their minds open and, like, yeah, because you might find it all around you. Another really great example is a menstrual cup, right? If you invest in one, even if you buy very expensive, 1,400, but they start easily at like 700 odd rupees, and you could use it for life. And by doing so, you could save like 2 lakh odd rupees that you would buy, pads and things like that from. So it does make going low waste or zero waste or being more sustainable actually can also make financial sense.
Yeah, I think there's also lack of awareness, and then there's always friction to change.
Yeah, true.
Right. So that's where we need to work on. So, to the common person, what would be like three things, three low hanging fruit, everyday habits that we can change for a more sustainable earth?
Yeah. Shop local, I think just walk and shop as much as you can. And I think we in India have a very thriving local ecosystem, whether that's the bazaars or everything. So I think walk more and shop
It's good
local
for our
more.
health too.
Exactly. So I would say if anything is walkable distance, walk. Reduce your carbon footprint by virtue of instead of driving and things like that. Or use public transit if you can. I feel like the metro is amazing and it's getting even more well connected. And if you can't do that, cycle, right? And if you can't do that, think about maybe possibly working towards an EV, right? And it could be a bike, it could be a car. But at least when you are exploring to purchase something of that kind, do at least a test try of an electric car or vehicle.
Interesting.
For
Okay.
it to be on your radar, because actually transportation is a huge amount of our emissions come from transportation annually, globally. So that's a great way for all of us to try and cut down on. And I would say segregate your waste. Very easy, takes only a few seconds. Just keep 2 bins in your house, 3 bins
When
in your house.
each person does their part,
It would really add up. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Something very different this time. So I saw that you were recently at a funding show,
Yeah.
right? And the reason I noticed it is, I'm also part of the Startup Singham show as
Oh,
an
lovely.
investor, and I've
Okay.
been an investor at a previous show called the Indian Angels.
Okay.
And one of the companies that came to the show was Free Grip, a company that we've invested in the
Oh,
past.
amazing.
So I just wanted to ask you about the experience and
Yeah.
what came out of it.
Yeah, for sure. So honestly, I'm a very shy person, and I'm especially nervous to put the business out there, right?
Okay.
Because I think everyone has a lot of skepticism around impact businesses, social enterprises. When you have this environmental lens, social lens, economic lens all together, and a lot of people actually consider your financial goals conflicting to your economic or social goals,
Very true.
right?
Very true.
And I'm just trying to say that, hey, we can actually do them all. We can care about people, planet, and profit all together. And so I was very skeptical. Because I also thought that maybe not everyone can appreciate the impact that we're trying to create. But I wanted to put and I'm also very nervous about speaking in Hindi, to be honest. I'm a South Indian girl. My husband is Konkani, so he speaks perfect Konkani. He didn't even grow up in India. So we were like really nervous about a lot of little things. But then we said, you know what? Maybe even if more people come to know about waste management, sustainability, or that gets into their radar about how they can consume
it's
more
such a lovely
mindfully.
platform to bring
Why
that
not?
awareness. Yes.
Right? So we studied the Hindi script, we practiced plenty, and we said, okay, let's go ahead and do it. I think it was a fun experience. I think it was Bombay with the glitz and glam of the sets and stuff is quite an experience to see, and for people to, if you do get an opportunity, I feel like you should just say yes and do it. And it was really lovely. We did get an offer as well.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, thank you. So it's definitely an experience. And I'm so glad I actually put away all of my hesitation and all of my, all of my inhibitions and intimidation aside and actually went for it.
It's so nice that you're being upfront about it and saying that not everyone claims that.
Yeah, for sure. So overall it was great. And honestly, the team was so excited to watch us all together. We did a little screening at home, and the entire team was just so happy and excited. And I think that to see smiles on their face was great. A lot of customers replied, and wrote
that
to
they
us,
saw you.
yeah, that they saw us and they loved it, and they appreciated some of the answers and things like that. So it was overall really well received, and super grateful for that.
The good thing about these platforms, apart from the funding, the recognition that you receive, is one, the awareness, like you said, and second, it actually inspires other people who are deliberating about it, who are not so sure.
That's
right?
so true. Yeah. Right. What is your experience like being on the other side of the show?
It's been wonderful. It's been very humbling for many reasons. One, it really grooms founders because when they come to a show, there's so much that they need to prepare. They actually introspect. So I think it really grooms them. Second, the funding really helps them. Beyond funding, not everything, is money. The thing about these shows is the strategic partnership that investors bring to the table far beyond what money can do. And then even when the company doesn't get funded, there is so much recognition and exposure that they've received that after the show, so many people actually approach them.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? And they do so much better after being exposed to a platform like this.
Yeah.
And then finally, like I said, they inspire so many others, right? And, the other thing that really, I feel good about is the representation of startups that came to the show. So it was not the average out of college guys, two guys coming. There were so many women, so many couple founders, so many student founders. So the representation was amazing. Representation not just from the tier 1 cities, but tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities. And then, the products that came out, the products and services, from edibles, from as basic things as like ice creams to snacks to AI robotics, prosthetics. I saw it all. So it was so humbling. I felt so small compared to, there was so much to offer. So it was absolutely amazing.
That's awesome.
And it's a revolution that's actually happening, considering the ecosystem that's actually so fertile right now, the startup ecosystem being so fertile right now. So absolutely amazing.
And I think
journey.
offline, outside of the sets, there was so much friendship and camaraderie with the other startups.
Absolutely.
And because you're all in one place, 15 of you, 20 of you who are all on that same day, or you just get to know each other so well on a human level.
Exactly.
And honestly, we were there till late night, 12, 1, the night before the shooting, and this, that, and the other. So there was just so much camaraderie, and I think you won't get 15 people in one place all on the same page, just sharing and talking as well. So that was also really nice, actually.
Especially as a founder, your journey is very lonely.
Yeah.
So when you meet like-minded people, it's
Yeah.
you relate to them so much, it's a whole new level. And that's the relationship that I had on the investor side as well. So all of us got together, you back like college students. We had a whole lot of fun. So
I'm
every time
glad.
we meet, it's a whole lot of fun. So yeah.
That's best.
So finally, Sahar, so this is our signature question.
Okay.
You're a woman, you're doing something very, very different. Not a lot of women are in this space. So, what does Nari Shakti really mean to you?
Oh, wow. I think it means to embrace that fearlessness within you. I think it means to be very real and authentic to who you are. I think it also means to listen in and build from intuition. I think we have a lot of answers within us, but we second guess, as a lot of women do. But I think it's embracing the power within, but also not forgetting to bring other people on your journey with you.
Very true, very
So
true. It's not just about leading, but actually giving back, enabling other women.
yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. So I think it's all about celebrating also the amount of people and lives that you can bring along this journey with you, and impact their lives as well. Yeah.
Lovely. It was such a pleasure having you here,
Likewise.
Sahar. For those of you who joined today's show, please let us know what you thought. Leave us your likes, your comments. The biggest takeaway for me today is you can go beyond just people and planet. You can have profitability too. And then let's do our part because it all adds up. Those were my two biggest takeaways from
Amazing.
today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I really had a pleasure speaking with you. It was so fun getting to know you as well.
Likewise, likewise. It was mutual. So until next time, we'll have another Nari with her story. I hope you all have a wonderful week.